Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Jason Howell is here.
Hello.
Of TNT fame and all about Android. You scared me off last year. From
sorry.
The Galaxy Note. It's a 10-inch tablet. I was very intrigued. It has a stylus.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Note phone. This is the Galaxy Tab.
Tablet, yeah.
And you said you didn't like the screen that much. So we got the new edition, the 2014 edition, the Galaxy Note 10.1.
Yep.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Is it much different from last year's?
I would definitely say so. So, yes, first of all, if you go to my YouTube review.
You were scathing.
A lot of people did not like my review because I gave it a don't buy.
But that was chiefly the screen.
That was the big problem that I had. If you're paying $500 to $550 for a 10-inch tablet, it's premium tablet, it's premium territory as far as Android tablets are concerned. The resolution was 1280 by 800.
Yeah, that's not good.
And the reason for that, they said, was because of the Wacom technology. It just wasn't working with the higher resolution displays. Well, they've cracked that nut. This is actually twice the resolution, 2560 by 1600 resolution.
Now
And
you're talking.
I gotta say, the display on this is gorgeous. It's vibrant. They really solved that main complaint that I had.
Yay.
And it's just a solid, sharp-looking display.
I see they've adapted some of the Note 3 styling. You've got the pleather, stitched pleather back.
Yeah. So okay. So I actually like the
You know what?
the
It's
design
easier
of
to
this
grip.
more or less. It's totally fake leather.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even pleather because it's not cushiony. It's
Right.
kind of like plastic that's been made to look like leather for the most part. You know, even right down to the stitching on the
Oh, it's
side,
not
which
real
is kind
stitching?
of cheesy.
See, on the Note,
no,
it's real
not.
stitching. Oh,
okay,
okay.
no,
All right.
in this it's not. It's a total plastic overlay.
Right.
But it has a nice grip to it. And you know, from afar, if you're in the business world and you want a tablet that looks a little bit more professional, I guess, if that's important to you, people are going to look at it and they're probably going to be tricked enough, from afar, if that's important to you. But overall, the design, I actually kind of like the design. I think the way that they, kind of have the glassy white with the chrome around the side kind of gives it a nice, more premium kind of look and feel. They changed it this time around to put the S Pen up at the top, which I actually liked a lot more than down in the bottom. I felt down in the bottom, you kind of had to go out of your way to get it. Here, you're already holding it in landscape anyways. It's just right there. You just pull it. And quite frankly, having that S Pen with kind of some of the advanced functionality that it has down here, it has this little air command window, which I believe is part of the Note 3 as well.
Yeah, and the Note 2. This is part of. Or I'm sorry, not the Note 2, the Note 3. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And really cool, like right off the top, when you remove the pen, it opens up that window, and then you can get right to making your notes and everything. You can also pull that up on the S Pen. There's a little button on the side here. If I hover, you can see a little, I don't know if you can see that in the video, but you can see a little indicator that says where I'm hovering over. I press that button and it'll pop up the air command. So it's just some cool features like, hey, I want to, capture this desktop. So I draw that and that becomes kind of something saved in my scrapbook for later. I can write over the top of it. Little nifty features like that.
Samsung's really promoted this notion that they do Android Plus. In fact, at their developer conference, they really wanted to talk about their SDKs, their overlay. TouchWiz. They didn't even mention Android, even though it's on an Android platform. This is a Samsung device.
Absolutely. And it's pretty loaded as far as the specs are concerned. 1.9 gigahertz octa-core Exynos processor. This is the Wi-Fi version, 32 gig Wi-Fi version for $549.99.
A caution on Exynos that I've learned from my Galaxy S4, because it's a Samsung processor, it hasn't made it into the open source community, so these will not be readily rootable or modifiable.
They're a little bit more difficult.
Hard to remove TouchWiz on an Exynos.
Yeah, and you got to be okay with TouchWiz. I mean, when you're in the Samsung world, as far as this is concerned, if it's not a Google Play edition, which this definitely isn't, you got to be okay with TouchWiz.
That's why you buy a product like this, because of the stylus, because of the additional features, right?
Yes, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Yeah. Like, you might not like overlay, but then again, they're not going to add in this functionality that isn't inherently built into the core of Android.
Right.
I mean, they're going to build around it. In the past, I haven't really cared much for TouchWiz. It didn't bother me as much this time around, and they've definitely made a lot of refinements here and a lot of advanced, kind of S Pen, as you say, S Pen functionality to kind of go into it. You've also got your multi-window support, so you have a menu over here on the side, so I could pull up Evernote on one side, and then I could pull up YouTube on
They
the
promote
other.
this heavily in their advertising. I never used it. Do you find it useful?
It's neat. I didn't find it directly useful. It seems like the kind of thing that might get useful over time. In the last week that I've been playing around with the tablet, didn't use it so much other than to
They
test it
show
out.
people sending text messages and dragging images from a gallery into the text message.
Yeah, you really got to buy into Samsung's kind of thought process when you get a device like this. But as far as the specs are concerned, pretty octa-core processor, so that sounds great. 3 gigs of RAM. I will say that TouchWiz, one of my main complaints is just that it kind of has a certain lag that is hard to showcase right off. You almost have to get in there and touch it and move it and operate it for a while, and you start to kind of just feel like TouchWiz slows things down.
That lag.
There we go.
Yeah.
That was like two
Very
seconds of a
visible.
switch.
Yeah.
So little things like that kind of are a little bit of a downside, but for the most part, they address my complaints. The display is excellent. The camera is still a camera. It's a camera on a tablet. I have a hard time rating those because I never use a tablet for the camera. So people do, but as long as it's serviceable, which it definitely is serviceable.
How many
here.
megapixels? Is it?
8 megapixel on the rear and then 2 megapixel on the front. So pretty standard as far as that's concerned these days. Battery life was pretty okay. It's an 8220 milliamp hour lithium ion battery. They claim up to 9 hours, and I certainly didn't find myself in a situation where I was hurting battery life.
If you use the Note 3, this just looks like a big boy version of the Note 3.
And that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's all about the S Pen.
That's
right?
smart, though, because that's, people presumably have used that. And so now they want something bigger. This is a logical place to go.
Yep, absolutely. Gaming was great on it. Overall, I was really happy with
So
this.
the lag is not a lack of processor speed.
Yeah.
Gaming is fine.
Yeah.
It's just something else
thought
going on.
I found gaming, and I
Maybe
was
it's all the
playing
pixels. I don't know.
Yeah, I was playing Riptide GP2, which has a lot of moving parts. It's a really great way to test kind of graphics performance on Android. Dead Trigger 2, and I thought they played really smoothly, and this was a lot of fun to game on. So it comes down to that TouchWiz overlay, which I just feel like it slows things down.
You love it or you hate it.
Yeah, exactly. As far as the pros, the display is magnificent. S Pen support is, you're not going to find this kind of integrated stylus, air quotes, support in many other tablets on Android right now. So the S Pen is part of that. And it has, I think, a pretty nice premium kind of stylistic approach this time around. Cons, performance lags and stutters in some places, typically TouchWiz. The camera, but what are you going to do? It's a tablet. And then it is pricey, $550 for the Wi-Fi model. 32 gigs of storage, yes, on this. So I recommend it as a buy if, again, and I think I mentioned this last year, if you want S Pen / advanced stylus support, it's kind of the game in town. It's probably the best as far as that category is concerned. If all you want is a nice premium tablet, I think you could probably look elsewhere because you don't need to spend that extra $50 to $150 for the S Pen if you're not going to use it that much. But I think for Wacom fans, they're going to love it.
The good news is they've addressed the issues you had with last year's
absolutely
screen.
They have.
And so it's high resolution. It looks great, which last year's did not.
Yeah.
There you go, the Galaxy Note 10.1. And did you say buy? Did you say try?
I say buy.
You say buy.
Yeah, particularly for Wacom fans or people interested in the S Pen. Yes, buy.
Jason Howell tonight, all about Android.
That's right.
There were some big Google Plus announcements today, so we'll be watching. That'll be interesting. And then
it's an interesting time of year for Android.
No Nexus 5.
Man,
still waiting.
We want.
No
I
Kit
want
Kat.
to believe. Come on,
I believe.
Give me my next phone, Google.
I'm dressing as a Nexus 5 for Halloween.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I'll be invisible.
Yes. I don't exist.
Vapor. Just a bunch of vapor.
I vapor. Yes.